What is up, and welcome to episode 3 of Coffee with Cal. So, just a little recap. Yesterday was Content Day, and Content Day was not Content Day. It started off pretty rough. We had a snowstorm. It wasn't a massive snowstorm, but it was enough to give us huge drops in internet connection, and it kind of slowed down my whole day, made me a little demotivated. I'll be honest. It was a little demotivating, but we pushed through. We got some stuff done. So instead, I decided to make some pork ribs with the 3-2-1 method. The 3-2-1 method is 3 hours uncovered in the oven, 2 hours covered in foil, and 1 hour with the glaze on top. And they always turn out amazing. 250 degrees Fahrenheit. It's just, and you can do the same thing in a smoker. It's actually better in a smoker, but I do it in an oven just because my smoker is currently not working, which is sad. And then the internet connection, after I spent several hours cooking, was restored at around 5 p.m. So I started recording videos for today and tomorrow, but I didn't get as much done as I wanted to because I had like 6 hours to record instead of an entire day, which sucks, but it is what it is. You take what you can get, you focus on what you can do, and you just push forward. That's all you gotta do. So that's it for the daily recap, because honestly, it was a pretty uneventful day aside for some recording. I did start playing the new with the new league items because the preseason hit on the 15th, and gotta admit, Jock Show Heckram is kind of busted. I might be putting that video. I'm not sure. I recorded a video of me playing it, but the video is kind of meh, so it might just be a short. I don't know. I don't know. But the Lore Legends of Runeterra video that is up currently is Arrows of Light, which is a Vayne Varus deck. It's a Quip, Rally, Spam attack. I'm really happy with the game that I got out of it. Although the guy I played against was really salty. Every time I did something that he didn't like, it was just like, he let the timer go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Every time I play a card, all the way down. And then there'd be a string where it looked like I was going to lose. No timer issues there. As soon as it looked like I was going to win, timer all the way down. So it was a good game. It just was way longer than it needed to be because my opponent was trolling me pretty hard. So the mutant video is going to be up tonight, hopefully, some point. I have it 90% done. I have some subtitles I want to put on and a couple videos that I'm trying to get clips of for in there. I decided I'm going to take a little break, and I slept on it, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's not a very long video, but I wanted to make it good. I wanted to put the effort in, so I, I did what I did. I also, backtracking to the ribs, I made a short about the ribs that I'm going to be uploading today. So it's kind of memey. There's no real editing there. It's just a whole bunch of short videos I made on my phone. My phone's not that good, so it's something. On top of that, today is a long work day. I have roughly 10 hours that I'm not going to be home. And unfortunately, that means not much content's going to be recorded today either. So there won't be a Legends of Runeterra video or any videos on Cal on Friday. I'm going to aim to do a whole bunch on Sunday and Saturday. But it's kind of going to be a little slow today and tomorrow. I apologize for that, but it is what it is. I booked off a day next week thinking I had a dentist appointment, and it turns out that I don't. What that means is I have another content day, another day that potentially I could get content recorded as long as the internet decides to work. I'm a little salty that it didn't work yesterday. So hopefully it's back up again, because like it's been fluctuating. Now that we're getting snow, it's throwing a hissy fit. But yeah, I hope the content day next week is more successful. On top of that, I found out that my brother's Christmas present is a little spicy. So much so that he said, you should be prepared to throw up. He knows that the hot sauce that I normally use is Carolina Reaper. So if he's saying it's going to be that bad, I'm a little scared. I'll be honest, I'm a little scared. Because I worked my way up to Carolina Reaper over the last like 5 years, and I'm like just comfortable with it. So I can do like I did like a Carolina Reaper mayo, kind of like a buffalo ranch, but with mayo and Carolina Reaper hot sauce and some onion stuff chopped in it for dip with breadsticks, and that's really good. It's spicy. Don't get me wrong, it's spicy, but that's really good. But if he's saying what he got me is spicier, I'm kind of scared. You might see a video of me just suffering through this Christmas present he got me over the winter break. Yeah, be prepared to watch me suffer because it sounds like that's what's going to happen. Final thing, content wise, that I'm going to be working on. Freaking punch the mic. I have a setup now that I think is pretty flushed out to record piano and vocals at the same time without it sounding too clunky. Because, like, when I hit these keys, they sometimes come through with a little thud. And when I have the mic directly above it, it comes through even louder. So I figured out a way that I can kind of filter it out and hopefully it sounds good. So I'm going to be trying to make some music content in the near future. Hopefully, maybe it's the goal. It's a plan. I might do some like covers with like karaoke backings. I have a lot of music stuff that I want to do. It's just figuring out how to do it with my limited setup. So on to the creator highlight portion of this. It's a little weird today because I'm giving the creator highlight to New Rockstars, which has a lot of people involved in it. I want to specifically call out Eric Voss and be like, Eric Voss is my guy if I'm looking for content about Marvel or Star Wars, Disney, anything really. Eric's my guy. He's the guy that I watch the video, and if I see him in the video, I go, yes, this is going to be a good video. Not that the rest of them aren't, but the vibes that that guy gives off, oh, every video you watch, it's just positive vibes. It's chill. It's fun to watch. So yeah, Eric Voss, that's the creator highlight for today. He's on New Rockstars. That's where I mostly know him from. He's on TikTok, Twitter at EA Voss. Even the way he says his at the end of the videos is stuck in my head. It's like that is how good he is at getting like his name out there. So he has inspired me through his content and through New Rockstars in general to look closer at films, look closer at cinema, and look for these Easter eggs, these hidden details, because it's true. Every studio wants to put all this thought and effort in. Not every studio, but the majority of them put a lot of thought and effort into every aspect of the film, and a lot of it's missed watching it in motion. Like the amount of times I've watched a breakdown of his and he goes, this random thing in the back is a reference to this, and you go, yeah, that is a direct reference, it is very obvious, but you don't see that in motion. You don't see that when you're watching the film, and when you see it in theaters, you definitely can't pause it. So the fact that they put that kind of effort in, it makes me wish that they pointed it out more or were more obvious about it, because if it weren't for people like Eric Voss, MT, the rest of New Rockstars, Canadian Lad, like if it weren't for the YouTubers that are out there breaking it down, a lot of these details that they put a ton of time and effort into would be missed. Like you don't even realize just how many things set designers, producers, even some actors, how many details everyone puts into these films that just get overlooked when it's watched in motion. Unless you go frame by frame, sometimes you miss it. Most of the time you miss it, really. Talking about Eric, the vibes he gives off, and I say vibes because it is like this aura he has when he is in a video where he's happy, he's also perpetually tired, which I can relate to, and he's chill, but also excited. Like he's like a chill excited. It's it's kind of hard to explain, but it is always a good watch. Go check out New Rockstars, and anything you see with Eric Vossen is definitely got a thumbs up for me. Most of the content I like. I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars, so some of that stuff I haven't seen, and Stranger Things I haven't seen, so I haven't watched any of that. And Game of Thrones, I haven't really watched, so that content also, I feel like saying the Game of Thrones thing used to be bad, but now after the last like season and some of the other content that they put out, it doesn't feel as bad to say that I haven't seen Game of Thrones. But at one point in time, if I had said that, people would have had my head. So Now to new rock stars in general. Their theories across the board have made me more interested in both the source material for these shows and for the upcoming shows. The direction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the direction of the DC Extended Universe. I wouldn't be as passionate about the things I'm passionate about right now if it weren't for new rock stars. And a good example of that is the break room. I did not think you could come up with something new every day, theory wise, when there's no films out and there's nothing happening. I didn't think that there was that much possibility in the Marvel Universe, yet every single episode of the break room, they come up with something and go like, wait, that could be a thing. Wait, that's possible. Wait, that sounds crazy, but Kevin Feige could do it. It could be a thing. Break room is my go-to lunch watch every time I'm on lunch break. And it is just, it's always worth watching. The only thing I will say is Tommy is an acquired taste. I love watching him when he's on the break room. But at first, it definitely was one of those, like, after watching a whole bunch of MT and Jessica and Eric break down Easter eggs and trailers, watching the break room with Tommy was a little bit of a, like, woo, over there. Changes your whole perspective on everything. You're like, oh, wow. But yeah, he's also, like, one of my favorite people to see on there, so thumbs up. And the perpetually on-screen, off-screen producer Brandon, also very much enjoy when he's in a video. I would love to eventually, honestly, get advice from MT, Eric, and any of them really, on how to make better content and have a more efficient method for analysis when I'm like watching a movie in theaters. Because how do you break down a movie or get Easter eggs of a movie that's still in theaters and you don't have access to the actual like film? Like maybe they do. I know I saw that Eric has a notepad that he writes in the theater. Like he has this like notepad that he holds down here and he's just learned how to write without looking. But that doesn't explain just how much detail these breakdowns give. Because there's a lot of these breakdowns that he does. He sees details in the back, like I pointed out earlier, that I'm like, I never saw when watching. And realistically, I don't have the time to watch multiple times, so that could also be a thing. Like he can go and see it multiple times, whereas I can't. I still have my job that I have to do. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe seeing it multiple times does help. The creator highlight, definitely new rock stars, definitely Eric Voss, MT. And I'm gonna throw Tommy on there because Tommy's always a blast to watch. The next segment is positive vibes, and I've been talking about positive vibes all day because I needed those positive vibes yesterday. I need them today. I need them for every day forward because when the internet decides to take a dump and content is harder to record, harder to create, it is a motivation drainer. So you got to do whatever you can to stay positive. I've been playing a lot of music. I started cooking more. I always cook, but when stuff like that happens, there's no internet or there's crappy internet and I can't do anything, I tend to like learn new recipes because I have a whole bunch of recipe books. I tend to cook a lot. If I don't have ingredients, I look for alternative ingredients and I try to do what I can to make food that I've never made before. So yeah, I feel like I've taken the leap to start trying some Tennessee and Texas, Nashville, a whole bunch of state food, which is weird for me because I've done French cuisine, I've done a bit of Japanese. I want to do more Japanese cuisine in the future. I've done Korean, Indian, like South Indian. So I've been practicing a whole bunch of different cooking techniques and I never really looked at anything from North America aside from like tacos. and I can make a mean Hawaiian pizza, but not everybody likes that. So I've been learning other things. And because of that, I think I might actually start making at least cooking shorts, maybe full videos eventually, but cooking shorts for sure. Because after making the rib short, I'm like, oh, if I had a stand for my phone, I could actually make a pretty mean cooking short because I work in a kitchen and I'm pretty proficient with all kitchen equipment. So I feel like I could make a really nice video. Also, random thing I'm pointing out, my dogs love snow, and every time it snows, they run around and they have a whole bunch of fun in the snow. So it was really cute seeing them today roll around and chase each other. The female of the pups, Ari, she tends to like play fight with her brothers, Bear and Mac, mostly Bear, although she's been starting to play fight with Mac a lot more. And when they were doing in the snow, she's a black lab, but she would come out of that fight looking like a white lab. So it was pretty good. I enjoy watching the pups have fun when they're outside. Sometimes they can be inside all day because we're all working, and I feel bad. They go out like 2 or 3 times a day, and they don't really do much. So I love being able to take them outside and, let them play, go for a walk. Yeah, have fun, be pups, even though they're definitely like 9 years old, around there. They're still pups to me. And then on a more personal note, I can do 5 chin-ups now. I just barely was able to do it earlier today. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but I had, over the last, I'd say 4 years, progressively worsening back issues to the point where like my back seizes up pretty hard when I'm working, and I'm 26. I'm not that old. So the fact that my back was having this issue, it's a musculature issue. I can't remember the name of it. But basically I have a lot of short muscles in my back that are not supposed to be as short as they are. So like they're always tight. So like even right now it feels like I'm like tense in my back. I'm trying to relax, but it feels like I'm flexing my back, and it kind of makes me perpetually sore. I'm getting better, a lot of stretching, a lot of physio, and doing 5 chin-ups was like a big step forward for me, because I hadn't been able to do that in a very long time, like since I was in public school. Like that would be 9 years ago that I did that many chin-ups. So I'm pretty happy that I was able to do it. I'll be honest. I'm pretty happy. That's a big step forward for me. This is definitely going to be a short podcast episode because, like I said, it was a pretty disappointing, slow day yesterday, and it's going to be a slow day today. So I am sorry that this is short, but it is what it is. And I've realized I've said that a lot, but sometimes I stick to these ideas of it is what it is, because if I try to think about it at all, I get really sad. So we're just gonna accept it as it is and move forward. Just a recap section of the podcast. The huge snowstorm kind of threw an anchor into the content day. Ended up cooking, went pretty well. Really, really good ribs. Lore video is up, and that's about it for the videos. I was hoping to have a lot more done. The mutant video should be up later today, and unfortunately there won't be any lore video tomorrow, but I should have a lot of videos this weekend. My Saturday and Sunday, I have kept completely clear to do content and to set up my space so I can do recording of music. I'm really hoping that everything I figured out still works, because sometimes I figure out like a mic setup and I'm like, yeah, it sounds really good. I turn off my computer, turn it back on, and something's changed and I don't know what it is, but it sucks and the mic no longer sounds good. So I will do my best to have a better sound recording setup and to try to put out some music content in the near future, because I talk about my vocals, I talk about my music a lot, but there's not a lot of it out there, especially recent stuff, because I've improved a whole bunch since I last created content around music. So yeah, I'm hoping it sounds good, hoping the setup works. That is fingers crossed. Creator highlight, looping back to it, New Rockstars, go check them out. If you like Marvel, if you like Star Wars, if you like DC, go check them out. Honestly, they give you a new appreciation for cinema and film, especially like the superhero genre, the comic genre. So yeah, check out New Rockstars. Big thumbs up to Eric Voss, MT, and Tommy. Those are the three that I really enjoy watching, and the ones that definitely got me into it in the first place, got me into watching New Rockstars. There's like Whitney and Jessica now and Brandon that are also like a big part of why I still watch them. But shout out to Eric and all of New Rockstars. And then finally, I want to just quickly say something because I almost forgot to mention it. I've been studying other languages, aka Japanese, and trying to relearn French. And somehow I ended up at literature of ancient Egypt, and it's kind of my favorite pastime. Between the Book of the Dead and a whole bunch of random poems, like ancient Egypt literature is kind of good. The only thing I will say is, and it's unfortunate, but it's because between the new and the old kingdom, a lot of tombs were defaced. There is a lot of writings that are just missing massive chunks of text. I'm looking for something here. Oy. You won't be able to see this on podcast, but on YouTube you can see it. At the end of a lot of lines, there's just brackets dot dot dot, and that's just areas that were scratched out or defaced between the old and the new kingdom, and it really sucks because some of those like documents that they have translated into this book just don't exist. There's no way to trace it, no way to figure out what it says because we're missing context. The book, forgot to say this for the podcast listeners, is The Literature of Ancient Egypt by William Kelly Simpson. And honestly, I think I might start studying other ancient history as well after this. This has been a good read so far. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think I'm going to end it there. Like I said, it's a short episode today. I'm a little sad about it, but we'll take it. We'll take it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. I feel like my brain is shutting down. There's so many things that have happened over the last couple days that my brain is shutting down. So I'm just gonna end it here. I'm gonna end it here. I want to thank everyone for listening, and feel free to subscribe to my Spotify or to any of my YouTube channels. Follow this podcast on Spotify. That's what I meant to say. And as always, take it easy.